Well, before we have a word with Bar Cycle Mayor Pete Dyson, let me just take you on a cycling journey I make on a regular basis. This is coming down Sydney Road by Sydney Gardens. It's part of an LTN scheme, so no cars, it's just for cycles and pedestrians. But you can see already how bumpy it is, and it's not just potholes into Sydney Place, once again being dug up. I think it's gas this time. It's not just potholes, it's the whole road surface is terribly fractured. Where trenches have been dug and tarmac laid, they've sunk, so you get ridges. I mean, on that road a year ago, I went over the handlebars of my bike on an icy surface when the wheel got caught in a ridge into Great Pulteney Street. And honestly, for a cyclist, there's nothing great about it. Every vibration, every jump you see in this film is me hitting a ridge or a pothole. I've got a little camera attached to my tunic, and I'm trying to film and give you some idea of just how rough the surface is on two wheels. When you've got four, it's not quite so bumpy, but when you are trying to steer on two, it's a much different matter. I think you can see by the vibrations, the juddering in this movie, just how many bumps I'm experiencing. Into Laura Place, this is where I'm due to meet Pete. And I think you can see here that the surface is no better. In fact, it's worse. Bump, bump, bump. Pete, good morning to you, and thanks for joining me here at the Laura Place Fountain. Now look, I've just cycled down the length of Great Pulteney Street into town, and I would argue this is one of the streets in the centre of Bath which has now become pretty well unsafe to anybody on two wheels. What's your reaction?
Well, we're talking about potholes, and I emphatically agree that potholes are not just a four-wheeled axled vehicle problem. They're very much a two-wheel problem.
Now you say potholes. I say potholes is only part of the problem. They dig up the road, they put down new tarmac, the trenches sink, you get ridges, the whole surface of the road is breaking up. Now, a year ago, on the side road by Sydney Gardens, which is now a low traffic neighbourhood area, which is supposed to be now primarily for pedestrians and cyclists, I actually went over the top of my handlebars because the wheel went into a rut on an icy road. So I'm arguing it's not just potholes, it's the whole surface of the road. And this is a local authority that's supposed to be making special provision for people like us.
Well, yes, I do agree with you, and there's an interesting distinction between the pothole and the sort of rough surface, and cyclists do, pardon the pun, get a rough deal because we're sort of a bit left out of the criteria that a council might use to assess whether it's worth resurfacing a road or not. This is something I found when I started as bicycle mayor 2 years ago. North Road, the road that runs up from the school to connect the university and
King Edward's,
Coombe Down and so much more, had exactly this kind of rough surface that we see here, but on a kind of 5%, 10% grade, and that caused a really big problem for people coming down the hill as you have to. And I was getting emails from people saying, just like yourself, hey, I've come off my bike, my wife, my husband's come off, they've hit a rut that they just can't see at night because it's not lit, and because of parked cars you have to travel into oncoming traffic, which is frankly, terrifying. But in their wisdom, Bath Council have a road surfacing criteria. They listen to the points being made, and 9 months later it's been resurfaced and is a smooth surface, and I don't get any emails from people falling off their bike anymore. It's not perfectly safe. Things like a bike lane and other things would be brilliant, but we're getting there. And in their defence, Bath Council do a lot of resurfacing, and as you follow the work that's being done, they're among the better nationally councils at doing resurfacing.
Yeah, in the middle somewhere.
You think in the middle?
They're not top.
They're not the top.
No, I saw a table of excellence just recently, and they're very much in the middle. So are you arguing, Pete, that it's pressure? You've got to keep moaning. Cyclists have got to keep saying to the council this road needs something done to it in order to get something done? Or would you argue that they listen more to motorists than they do to cyclists?
I think in a representative democracy, we need to make a voice heard. I think you can listen to the two balances. There is a lot of great talk, and there's a lot of, wherever there is money available, money put into making walking and wheeling and cycling better in this area. But the experience of the people on the ground are like gold dust, and the unfortunate instance you have, it's important that people raise injuries, and they use platforms like Fix My Street to say, hang on, this particular bit is a problem, and you can flag it on a map and make the voice heard. So I think there's probably a balance. One reason when we're on this particular stretch, I know that this is on the Bath movement strategy to have some important work done to make continuous crossings, to make it better for pedestrians, and I would speculate that they might put the resurfacing, tie that together with other changes they might make to the footways and to the crossing down there at the Holborn Museum. So there's a sort of fingers crossed, but it's a little bit of a lottery, or they keep the cards close to the chest on exactly what's going to get resurfaced and when. I think the list for this year might get released sometime soon, because they do it during school holidays and that sort of thing, and when motor traffic is lower.
So looking ahead, looking to the future, are you optimistic or pessimistic? Where does the cyclist stand, or sit, should we say, as far as road safety is concerned?
I'm optimistic. I'm an optimistic person. I think you don't get that far in life without looking forward to things. I think there's lots of good talk, but it's going to take years and years and years. You know, just last year I was in the Netherlands, and you arrive there and you see smooth bike lanes, you see no need to dodge potholes, right? But that didn't happen overnight. That happened in a concerted effort from the 1970s onwards to really make things easier to use. So, patience and perseverance. Woo!
Yes, they're looking forward to having electric buses. They're twice the weight of those, but that's a whole other issue. Thanks for joining me. Your job as cycle mayor, how much impact can you have?
Well, for one person with no budget and no team, a reasonable amount of impact. But I am in a way no more than a citizen with a title that a international charity has bestowed upon me. So it takes work each week in speaking to people, in responding to emails, in building up relationships with council members or with businesses to try and make a change. It's an unreasonable amount of work that any normal person would do, but it goes to show if a few people get in touch with me or get in touch with neighbours and work together, then we do have quite an outsized sort of impact, yeah.
Well, it's good to give you a voice this morning, and I better let you go back to work before we get yet another downfall. Pete, thank you.
Thank you.